gonna go ahead and give him the key, let him open up Jaguar, because I wanted to see.
This thing doesn't work from the front, right?
No, that's the thing. That's the other thing I want to get fixed.
How the hell is this thing?
Yeah, right. How do you get into Jaguar?
Oh.
Huh?
Jesus Christ!
Look at that thing.
The whole freaking trunk.
Isn't that thing incredible?
Jesus Christ! It's as big as I am. Oh my God, it's heavy too. Oh, it's got like limiting straps.
Yes.
That's kind of cool. I don't think I've seen that before.
No,
RC.
no RC that I've got has ever had limiting straps.
Jesus Christ, those are like.
Yeah, look at how thick the
ridiculous.
shock shafts are.
Oh my God, that's so freaking heavy.
So you think that's heavy? That's funny.
What? I mean, well, look at the size of it.
Yeah.
I don't have one of these, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's heavy. I mean.
Yeah. So it's funny is that it's actually a lighter
For
fifth
this
scale.
size.
Yeah, it's actually a lighter fifth scale.
I mean, that
Look at the
makes
blue.
sense.
The blue kind of almost matches your truck, kind of, sort of.
Yeah. That's
But what I wanted to do is I wanted you to run this thing, give it a try. You willing to give it a shot?
Yeah.
Just to see what it's like?
Yeah.
So go grab the batteries that are on the thing. I'll get it all set up. So I forget what remote's right here. You have the key?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want?
Well, no, it's just that I don't have any other key and there's no way to get into the car once the keys are locked in the trunk. Once the keys are locked in the trunk, that's it.
Waiting on my outdoor apparel.
Oh, you're fine. He's in his pajamas. He's worried about being outside. Dude, I go outside in my underwear now. I don't care. What do I care? So, one of the things you'll notice first off, at least I did, so this is a pretty small forest pack.
Okay.
For a big size truck, this was the first thing that I had noticed that was an issue, was that the pack hits that brace.
Oh.
So you actually cannot sit the pack down into the truck. It needs to be like tipped. So I thought that was weird.
Can't slide in?
No.
No?
Nope.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's for a fifth scale. That's a negative. But I'm gonna get these batteries strapped in here and let him take this thing for a rip. Figure out where the switch is. Power switch. Don't turn it on yet without the remote. Is the remote on?
I just did what you told me to do.
It should be fine. Oh, wait a minute. It's not recognizing.
Oh, and now it's broken.
No, it's not broken. There we go. Yeah, it's all set.
What is it? Why is it making
We'll see how intuitive it is for you to get this body on. Oh, look at that. Second try. I really wanted him to try this because he's used to running his big rock, and I just wanted to get his opinion of this truck coming from a big rock.
It's almost like, I feel like you need like an open field or something like this.
Yeah, for such a big truck,
Yeah.
like you need like a gigantic megaplex to run it. So yeah, don't go spitting rocks on your own truck.
I mean, not reverse brake sounds so weird.
Yeah.
So loud.
Because it's big.
Yeah.
This is 8S.
What's funny is like actually going forward, it's not stupid loud. Oh.
Right.
Yeah, you need like a lot of space for something like this.
Okay, so I was waiting literally for you to say that. So you were just saying, with this kind of truck, you need a big space, right? And then what did you literally just say?
But it turns tight.
Yeah. So once you start to learn throttle control with brake and turning, this thing you could drive in a small area.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I just mean in the aspect of like having, like being able to do what you
right, to be able to full trigger it and
like
jump it and go nuts. That was close. Almost took me out. And that's the kind of vehicle that'll take me off my feet.
That's why I was like,
They don't need those. They shouldn't even have those anymore.
yeah, I don't have enough room.
Yeah. It's a small street.
It does turn like wicked tight for
Yeah.
I feel like this turns literally just as tight as the rock does.
Say again?
It almost seems like it turns just as tight as the big rock does.
Isn't that
with it being,
crazy?
like twice as big.
Isn't that crazy? Twice as big. Dude, this thing is massive.
Yeah.
Woo. No wheelie bar.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking about doing? I thought about putting a metal plate on that bumper so that when it did that, it would protect the bumper and give sparks.
That'd be cool.
Shelby's, what's that? It's as big as you. She's like, oh crap. I'm scared. I'm scared.
She was actually chasing after the other RCs.
Was
that I
she?
have. Yeah. She's like actually.
She's like, this thing's the size of me though.
She's like kind of like interested in them now. Where
She
before
is.
she would
She's
just run
cautious.
away.
She's cautiously interested.
She's like totally run away from them before.
So the only one thing that I did was I tightened up the center diff on this. So out of the box, it was very loose. So when you would go to do what you just did, you wouldn't really be able to pull up the front end. It would immediately just balloon the front tires.
Yeah.
These aren't even the right tires. These are different tires that I put on it.
Oh.
Because I wanted something that was a little bit more solid. Because it actually allows this truck to drift if you can get it just right.
Yeah.
But it takes a little bit. See how it can do it?
Yeah. Light on the rock, she'll
Yeah.
go a mile.
What do you mean? You don't want to pepper Jaguar?
Pepper.
Pepper? Salt and pepper it?
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound awesome?
Yeah.
Dude, it literally screeches. I love that.
Didn't think that was gonna happen.
Walk of shame. I don't even think I've done that yet.
Tracks on one wheel.
How much skill you got to roost up some of them leaves on a turn?
Roost?
Yeah, roost up some of them leaves on a turn. Let's see. Woo!
Get out. Stick them out.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I know. See, yep. The way this thing reacts now versus how it would have been with the center diff acts exactly the way I wanted it to act.
Love that it's like a little, it's got that little bit of rowdiness to it,
Yeah.
but it's not like uncontrollable by any means.
Right?
It's actually very controllable, it seems like. As long as you don't, like, suck like I do.
Yeah, you don't suck. So, I want to ask you something right now. So, obviously, you've driven your cars that you've got, Big Rock, a couple of other cars that I've got. You've got your, what is it, the Tornado. So, how did this thing drive? Like, I mean, this is the first time I think you've ever driven a fifth scale, right?
Yeah. I think it drives awesome. I mean, I still think it needs way more space than what we have in just this little span. It's just not enough room for something this size.
Right.
But it's actually usable because at least it turns tight and is controllable.
Right.
You know.
What about like learning curve? Was it hard to?
When I first drove it, I feel like I had no clue what I was doing, and then I mean, I feel like I picked it up like just after like, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes.
Like it's an easy, like almost like it. Not that it drives itself, but it's so designed so well that it's actually easy to drive. It's more easy, at least for me. At least for me, what I thought was that it was more easy to drive, I guess, than what I thought it was going to be. And that's why I kind of said, like, it drives itself, but not really,
well,
but it...
You also put different tires on it, so I don't know how it would have reacted with the other tires.
Right.
I feel like that must have played a good, you know...
So the tires that are on here, they're similar. These tires are harder, like a harder compound, and a little bit heavier. So I felt what that did is allowed the truck to drift better.
Yeah.
So you would almost have more planted controllability with it.
And that's what I noticed.
Yeah, so with the tires that originally come on this thing, they have a softer compound and a much softer sidewall. And you know what happens if you have a softer sidewall with a stickier compound. Yeah, it would bite and tip. Yeah. So that's the reason why.
Which I'm sure is fine if you're in dirt and grass and whatever, but like if you are on anything like this.
Yeah, if you're mall crawling, pavement driving your four-wheel drive monster truck.
If you're on the pavement, it probably just wouldn't work, you know. Or I mean, I don't want to say wouldn't work, but just not nearly as well.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those turns wouldn't have happened, I don't think.
Yeah. So driving
Or
this thing,
even the donut that I did,
right?
You know, that wouldn't. I don't think that would have happened.
No, it would have totally rolled.
Yeah.
So just driving this thing, the amount of time you did, is this something that you would ever buy yourself? Because you're coming from Big Rock, the Tornado, 1/10 scale style cars. Does something like this interest you at all?
Yeah, interest me, yes.
Okay, why?
I mean, just the fact that it is larger, it's just going to be more capable. Just you can drive it over different terrains that won't. I mean, you know, I wasn't able to really experience that on flat pavement, but like I bet you just with the size that this is, if you're going over grass and, you know, dirt, mud, whatever, and you hit ruts, you hit holes, you hit whatever, it's not gonna knock the thing over, it's not gonna bottom out, it's not gonna do any of that stuff just because of the sheer size of it. Right. So there's less you have to worry about as far as the terrain you drive on. Yeah. You know? How much it's like driving, you know, the Jetta and then driving a truck. You know, it's just like the truck's going to be able to drive over more stuff without
it's going to be able to drive over the Jetta.
Out, you know?
It'll be able to drive over the Jetta.
Yeah. It's like the same thing with even the Tornado versus the Big Rock. You know, the Tornado, you really, it has to be just flat dirt or pavement. You can barely drive it on grass, really. Yeah.
So what I call that, I call that like a groomed surface.
Yes. Yeah. Where like the Big Rock, I can just kind of drive it wherever. Granted, you know, this is going to be able to do way more, just because of its sheer size. Right. But
so, what do you think?
The way I was.
So what were you just saying?
With the fact that like that is a light one, it's just like, this is light, Jesus Christ! Like when I was picking it up out of the trunk, I was like, oh my god! Like just manipulating, holding it like straight out. Right. Like you actually have to like use your arms to look at things.
That's where you and I need to be able to take my X-Max, which is my mongrel truck that I've got, and this thing, we need to take it to some place and run these things and then swap off controllers so that you can feel the difference between the Traxxas and you can feel the difference between this. Because you never running a 5th scale before, I'm not trying to sway you in any way, but if you drive the X-Max versus this, you may get a different opinion about the larger scale RCs. Like, if the X-Max was the first vehicle you drove versus this thing, you might get a different. I'm not going to tell you anything, but but this thing died again. The thing always overheats. It's pissing me off.
I'm trying to think of what I was saying.
So is this what do you think this thing is coming in at?
See, I wouldn't even know, because I know that size of vehicle is like a whole different price range. So those are all like, you know, aren't those all like $1,000+
So you're close.
Yeah.
You're close. So Traxxas X-Max comes in at $1,000. Literally, it's $999.99.
Yeah.
This thing is $859 or $869.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's like a significant price difference, I would think, as far as like a percentage goes. You know? I mean, that's like two totally different ranges. You know?
That's almost
that's not
why.
Like, okay, this is one's like, you know, whatever, it's $60 cheaper. It's like, no, it's a, you know, it's over 100. You know, what'd you say was I think it's either $859 or $869, so it's like $870 or right. And with tax, you know, it does end up being like that 9 something, like whatever. Yeah. But I mean, look at what you're getting for that money. You know what I mean?
you're getting, and again, I'm not trying to, you know, put words in your mouth, but you, for the first time, just drove a 5th scale. And sometimes it's like that, the experience that you get from an RC the first time tells you, it's kind of like if you drove this truck and there were 2 F-150s that you were looking at. The first one you drove maybe had something wrong with it, but you kind of thought like, oh, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then you drove this truck and the thing was mint and you're like, oh, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. So if you drove the first one, your impression of an F-150 would have been, oh, these things are shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This thing drives like a brick.
Yep.
That's where, just in my personal opinion, between the first time I drove an X-Max and then the first time driving this, 2 totally different experiences. And they're 2 totally different trucks, and that might be why. So one person might like the Dodge, and another person might like the Ford for those specific reasons. The way it drives, the options that it has, what it can and can't do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So what are you seeing?
No, I was just looking at the wheels. That's kind of funky.
What?
They're like tapered.
Oh, you mean it's got the smaller inner?
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Well, it's so it can fit the steering.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, a lot of RCs are like that. I even think your Big Rock is like that.
Really?
I think so. I can't remember.
I don't think
well, maybe not.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not. Is. Most RCs are. They have an inner. The inner structure is bigger than the outer section of the wheel. So, but yeah. So you think this thing's pretty cool?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. This thing's
so when you get
huge.
one? Well, come on. You don't have to buy that gun. You can just buy one of these. It's about the same price. Yeah. But yeah, you and I definitely have to get out there and run the 2.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And the X-Max actually is not a 5th scale, but Citraxis does weird stuff. It's like a smaller 5th scale, I think. But I think these trucks are about the same size.
It's a 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5. Well, what they do is they call the X-Max the X scale. And like the UDR, you remember the UDR, right?
Yeah.
We were racing. The UDR is called Pro Scale. So they actually won't put a number to it.
What does that even
It's because it's Traxxas. They don't want anything to be, I think...
They're 100% proprietary. Even our sizing is proprietary.
Yes, everything. Wow. Dude, everything about Traxxas is proprietary. So anyways, this is RC Guy Garage, and this is my son here. I wanted to give him, or let him have an experience with this Red Cat Racing Vigilante. It's a 5th scale. This is the first 5th scale he's ever driven, and I think driving this vehicle just gave him a pretty positive experience. So, yeah, he's shaking your head, yes. We'll have to see if Emma will buy him one of these. All right, man. Just pointed out something. He was looking at, because the son was on the remote, and he's like looking at the remote because, you know, he's got other RCs and he's got a Red Cat. And he saw this S on there and he was like, you mean these come in different sizes? And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? And he's like, dude, it's got like an S right there. So does that potentially mean, what did you say?
That you can replace it with like different...
Like a different size grip.
Yeah, different size grip.
Like, that is something that I never even thought of. Because I bet you it is,
because it is kind of small, right?
Yeah.
I actually do like this grip. It's like the rubberized, but it's also like textured.
Right.
Like, I actually noticed that when I was driving. It's like, I really like how the grip is on this. Like the rubbery kind of grip, right? Actually, I like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, a little granulated kind of.
Yep. A little textured, yep.
Yeah. I would be interested to see if they actually have different sizes, like different
I never even
panels.
I never even saw that S.
Because I mean, look at it. You know, it is a, you know.
You know what is funny about it?
Look at that.
Yeah, yeah, they do come off.
I bet you. I bet you they have different sizes.
So this is a 4-channel remote, right? You see what does that little switch right there say?
What?
What does the top's little circle switch say?
LED. What? Wait, why? Wait, why?
That's what I said.
Hold on. How bright is that? It's gotta be like the most dim.
That doesn't do anything. What is that? Why?
Isn't that a riot? Dude, I have no idea why that is on there. I know. Why does that exist? That's the exact correct reaction to what the heck is that? Why does that even...
That costs money to do.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, guy. I don't know. I think they're just trying to do things.
Like,
yeah.
But it's so dim that it doesn't. That is like that's like a basic like backlight LED.
Right. If it was like an ultra bright light, that would make sense. But it's a wicked dim. Yeah, I know exactly. I did the same thing. I think in the dark, it would.
I just put it in the dark.
I know. I just, I don't know. It was kind of funny seeing what the hell is the LED thing for. It just doesn't make any sense. So, yeah. All right. Well, I'll put the camera on if you notice anything else.
Okay.
I should have left it running because he's looking at the truck, you know, and being in automotive, he was like, oh, it's got F-150 taillights. Because it does. It's got Ford. So it's got a Ford taillight with a Chevy front end. And that's how Red Cat gets away from the licensing.
Yep. They're just like, let's just add things from everyone.
It does look cool, though.
Yeah.
It is a very slick looking vehicle. It really is.
I like that's just the weight of it. Just the weight of it actually brings the suspension down to where it should be.
Right.
Because I feel like a lot of the lighter stuff, like if you do this and you put it down, it stays up here.
Right. Yeah, it
this
does settle down a little bit.
To where it like.
Yeah, look at that. See, that's why I want to plate that.
Yeah.
I want to get plates on there. Metal plates.
That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah. Yep. So kind of metal plate, and that way it'll stop. Number one, it'll stop the scratching from happening, but also it would potentially give it a better surface, and it would spark, which I think would be pretty cool.
Hey, you could get some
titanium.
Yeah, that was exactly my thought. Some titanium, because it sparks like a lot and very bright.
I think that's what they do with lowriders. The lowriders have titanium blocks, so when they slam them, they scrape the pavement and you get fiery sparks everywhere.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, I'll put the camera on if he finds anything else. I like how the cool thing about this kid right here is that he's a fresh set of eyes on something where I see these things all the time, he doesn't. So it's kind of cool to get his perspective of things. But I think he's liking this thing. I think he's thinking. He's thinking pretty hard. He's thinking pretty hard. I would be too, man. I would be too.
Lower control arms are freaking amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
I mean, they have to be.
Yep. Yep, they definitely do. Need some strength. Beef and spice, man. It needs beef and spice. What I will say is I think the servo saver needs to be tightened up just a little bit, just so you can get more on power control out of the steering. So, but I like the limiting strap idea, man.
Yeah.
I think it's I think it was a smart deal. And obviously because it's a Velcro, you can adjust it too. So if you wanted to tighten it up, if for some reason you felt you needed to. But that way,
like this.
Yeah, and that way you're not over flexing the shocks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Blowing out the caps.
Yep.
Or the pistons, valves. So, yeah. I don't think it would take too much talking them into maybe getting one of these. And then, maybe if they had one in a different color. Although I bet he likes the blue.
I do.
I wonder why.
I'm a sucker.
I wonder why he likes the blue.
Sucker for blue.
Might have to get an FX4 sticker. Maybe if I put an FX4 sticker on there, get rid of the Red Cat. You know, you never know. You never know.